it's the Mike Rogers Show. Mike Rogers here with you. And today, you're really going to enjoy today's show because we have the lead singer of the world famous band, Guppy, and her name is Julie Lebow. Yeah, Julie. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is your last name Lebow or Lebow?
It's actually Lebow.
Lebow.
Mm-hmm. Oh. I've heard multiple pronunciations. It doesn't really matter to me.
Okay, so tell us about this is a difficult question. Tell us about Julie Lebow. Lebow?
Yes.
Everything.
All of it. Okay. It's a big question. Yeah, I'm a musician. I play with Guppy in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Georgia, which is a state in the south of the U.S. That's where my parents still reside. Yeah, I've been playing music for a long time. I'm also a grad student. I'm getting my master's in clinical psychology.
Really?
I work at a bagel shop. Yeah, I want to become a therapist eventually.
What university are you going to?
Antioch. It's in Culver City in Los Angeles.
Wow, congratulations. Your parents must be really proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
But on the other hand, are they really proud of you being a musician?
Definitely.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I grew up in a very musical family. And, I didn't really start writing music until I was in my early 20s. I've been playing guitar for many years since I was 10 years old, but I just would learn other people's songs. So once I started writing music and got a band together, I think my dad especially lives kind of vicariously through me. Definitely loves that I'm in a band.
Really? So
yeah.
What, is your dad a musician? Was he a musician?
Yes, he's a musician. He plays guitar as well. He's the one who taught me how to play guitar. He is, and now that he's retired, he's been playing music with other people more and kind of trying to get his own band together and writing music too. But he's been a poet for a long time as well. So he's always been a writer and a musician as well.
What? So your dad is retired. He can't be that old.
He is. He was 40 when I was born. I'm 27, so he's 67. And
he's my age.
Yeah, he's a rabbi. That's his job. So he's retired, but he still does weddings and funerals and bar and bat mitzvahs. But he just doesn't do services every Friday night the same way that he used to.
Really? So yeah. Is he looking for a band name? Rockin' Rabbis. That
yes.
Something like that.
It's a good
one. that would be really cool.
I'll pass that along.
So you got into music because of your dad, and what? When you were a little kid, did he buy you a guitar or a piano or something like that?
Yeah, he actually bought a guitar for my older sister, and she just never really used it. Mm-hmm. And she's about 7 years older than me, so it was just kind of sitting around for a couple years. Mm-hmm. And then I had pneumonia. Actually, I got walking pneumonia, which is when you don't have to be hospitalized for it, but you're really sick. So I was sick for 2 weeks and just got really bored and was home from school, and the guitar was around, so I taught myself how to play guitar. And my dad taught me a few chords, and then I just used the internet to kind of teach myself more, and that was kind of when I started learning guitar.
Wow, you learned how to play the guitar on the internet? I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah.
How did you do
you can
that?
learn how to do anything on the internet. Really just looking up, for me, I think hearing a song and then being I want to learn how to play that song, and just looking up what are the chords for this song, and then looking up those chords, and then simpler songs that are maybe 3 chords, and then maybe asking my dad, how do I play these chords, if he was around. If he wasn't, then I would just look up how to play a G chord, and there'd be a video on YouTube or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
there's everything on the internet nowadays.
Truly. And this was maybe in 2007. So the internet was still it wasn't quite as built out as it is now, but there were a lot of resources there for sure.
Yeah. Do you know, this is getting off the subject, but have you ever heard of CompuServe? Oh, CompuServe was the internet before there was an internet. And like geeks like me used to use CompuServe. And everybody had an email address, but it wasn't like now where you had your name in there. It was like your CompuServe email address is 010997655. Just these huge long numbers. So nobody really used it for. I mean, a few people use it for email, but it was really big for maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before the World Wide Web.
Wow.
So that, I don't know, that's just some trivia for you.
Yeah.
So when you were a kid then, what was the first, and this might be embarrassing, what was the first record you ever bought?
I'm pretty sure that it was Hilary Duff's Metamorphosis. I was maybe like 7, and she was a Disney Channel star at the time. She was on Lizzie McGuire, and then she had her like debut album. So I bought that on CD.
Oh, so oh yeah, what am I thinking? I said record, didn't I? So the first thing you bought was a CD?
Yeah, that's the first album I bought. I guess record, I didn't start buying records until I was older because my dad has a huge record collection. So I didn't really need to buy records when I was living with my parents, because I also didn't have my own record player, and it just, probably the first actual like record I bought was Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan.
Wow, you're like a time warp.
Yeah, I love Steely Dan. And also just when it came to vinyl, I was like, oh, I want to get older albums because it, I mean, they make newer stuff on vinyl. I have newer vinyls now. But when I was first starting my collection, I wanted to get like older albums that I like.
Oh, okay. So that was your first record. What was your first concert you ever went to?
I went to see Avril Lavigne with my mom when I was like 8 years old.
Wow. Wait, so Julie, I know this is bad manners to ask, but are you like 24 or something like that?
I'm 27.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're such a youngster. So
yes.
So is Guppy was born and that was your creation?
Yeah. So
how did that come about? How did you get the members and everything?
Right. So when I first moved to Los Angeles, this was in 2016. I was still in my undergrad years. So I was going to college at a college called Emerson, and it's in Boston. And
that's also very famous university.
Yeah. So some people know it. It's like I feel like a lot of people that are in the industry know it because it's a film school. That's what I went to school there for. So if you are working in that industry or adjacent to it in some way, then you maybe have heard of it. But some people outside of that have never heard of it. So I just wanted to explain what it was just in case. But yeah, so they have a Los Angeles campus as well. And I did my last semester before graduating in Los Angeles. And it's an internship program that you have to do if you're living at that campus. So I was living there and interning for a production company and living with other Emerson students. And one of the people I lived with was Mark Babcock, who's the bassist of Guppy. And Mark also writes music. And that was when I first started writing music when I moved to Los Angeles. I was kind of just looking for a creative outlet. I bought my first electric guitar. I'd only played acoustic before that. And like some bass, but I had never played electric. So I bought my first electric guitar and I just started writing, and we would hear each other both playing music through the wall. We lived like in our own rooms, but in the same
dueling banjos type of thing. Okay.
Exactly. And I wrote a few songs and I just like put them up on SoundCloud under the name Therapy Dog. That was like my solo artist name for a minute. And then after that was, so I lived there for like 3 months, and then I moved into a house in Glendale, and Mark moved into that house with me, and my friend Ian moved to Los Angeles at that time as well. And we had a garage in that house, so we got a drum kit and we set it up, and we were like, let's play these songs and let's build them out a bit. So Mark was like, okay, I'll play bass, and Ian started coming around the house, and I was like, oh, can you play drums? And he actually didn't know how to play drums, and he was like, oh, but I'll watch a YouTube video and figure it out. So he the same thing, he was like, okay, I figured out how to play like a simple beat, and then just from there just kept learning how to play drums, and now he's a great drummer. So it really was just kind of like a for fun thing to do with my friends, and we just kind of realized like, oh, we actually have something special going here, like let's keep doing this and get better.
Wow, that really blows my mind that you guys all learned how to play on the internet. God,
truly.
I'm getting so old.
I will say Mark has been playing music for a long time and writing music longer than I have, and he like took lessons as a kid and did, like, I think in his town, he grew up in Massachusetts, there was like a school of rock kind of thing where he could go and like learn from instructors, so he had more like formal training than me or Ian.
Did his parents also, like when he was a little kid, did his parents make him learn piano or something like? Is that how he started, or do you know? I'm
not sure. I think it was more that he wanted to, because he's just always been a musical person. I know that he was like did musical theater in school. He was also a big athlete. He kind of was always juggling like being on the football team and being in the musical kind of thing. But yeah, I think he was like, I want to learn more, and it's that kind of thing where both of his parents were working, and they were kind of like, yeah, like go do this thing so that we, while we're at work, you have something to do.
Wow, so you were a university student and you were working at where at that time?
When? Oh,
when the band started.
I moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I worked at a production company called Absolutely Productions. They do like Tim and Eric, if you've ever heard of them. Their show is through there. They're comedians. I worked on a show though called Nathan For You. I was an intern on that show.
Wow. So I went to the university and I studied cinema.
Oh, nice.
Too. So tell me about your cinema school and how you got into that, and are you doing that still?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I wrote for my like school newspaper, and I just really got into writing. I didn't want to be a journalist though, and I started making like short videos with my writing and teaching myself how to video edit. And I was kind of like, okay, I want to learn more about film, maybe work in the industry in some way. I wasn't totally sure, but I got into Emerson and I just liked the idea. I wanted to go as far as I could from home at that age. I was just like, I want to get out of here. So I went to Boston. And when I lived in Boston, I got really into the comedy scene at Emerson. So I did a lot of stand-up comedy and sketch comedy and made a lot of videos, like sketch shorts and stuff like that. And yeah, Emerson has a really good program for like a lot of hands-on experience. So I worked in like, they have a lot of TV studios there, and like within the university you can make a show. So I worked on like the Emerson channel and worked on TV shows there and stuff like that, and was in different writers' rooms, and also did a lot of video editing. So that's what I did there. And when I graduated and I lived in Los Angeles, I worked in TV and did mostly on the editing side, was doing like post-production. And over the pandemic, I was just like thinking about my life, and obviously all the productions were shut down, and was kind of just thinking about what I wanted to do with my career. And because I had started with music when I moved here, I was just getting so creatively fulfilled through that I was kind of like, okay, I don't really, and like working in the industry, it wasn't about my vision. You were really helping other people's visions. You pay your dues, and then maybe one day you can work on your own stuff. And I was already just getting that immediate satisfaction from making music. So I was kind of like, I don't really want a job. Exactly.
That's exactly
what that song is about.
What was that from? No, Hollywood Rejection.
Hollywood Rejection. Yes. Exactly.
I love all those songs.
Oh, thank you so much. And those songs were recorded in that garage in Glendale. That was like the first that we really got together.
That's one of the really, really cool things about the internet. It's made it so that you don't need to rent, a $500 an hour studio to make a really cool recording. My daughter lives in Germany, and she wrote, I don't know the exact wording, but she wrote that she loves Guppy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I've been playing you guys on my show a lot. And especially the new song Alien, that's really awesome. So
thank you.
And about film school, I don't know if you're interested, but Rain Dance in London? Rain Dance is the biggest indies film festival in the world.
Oh.
And they've had a lot of people. The guy, I can't even remember his name, because I don't have a TV. The guy who made the Star Wars movies, he got his start at Rain Dance.
Oh, yeah.
So many
George Lucas.
Yeah, and so many famous people started off at Rain Dance. And so if you make a film and you want to enter it in a really, really highly prestigious film festival, just tell me. And then I'm running the Japan Indies Film Festival in Japan, which is modeled after Rain Dance, but it's very difficult here because this is not a movie culture in this country. I mean, they have movies, but like in the West, it'll be your birthday, and then mom and dad will say, "Let's go to dinner and then go to a movie." They don't do that. They don't do that in Japan. In fact, films do not screen in Japan unless they're films from Hollywood don't screen here except for Disney and Star Wars.
That's interesting. Some of my favorite movies I actually watched when I was in school at Emerson. We did foreign films, and I really liked Hong Kong cinema. One of my favorite directors is Wong Kar-wai, and he's from Hong Kong. And it is really different than Western storytelling, but in a way that is really refreshing.
Yeah.
So that's in Hong Kong, that's in China. So, but just in the East, the storytelling is very different.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, is Guppy a punk band?
I think so. I mean, I would say our most recent album goes in a lot of different directions. In Big Man Says Slappy Do, we go country and very pop, almost like doo-woppy at times. But I would say punk. I would say garage rock. When people ask me, I usually just say we're a rock band because that feels vague enough that it could be a lot of different things. And some people are very gatekeepy about punk, and they're like, well, it has to be hard in this kind of way. But I think we have the punk ethos, and that's what makes us punk. I don't know. I think if you say a rock band, the first thing that pops in my head is big hair and Aerosmith type of thing. Okay, interesting.
So that would be for probably people my age, I bet.
Right.
So I definitely wouldn't call you guys a garage band, but yeah, a punk band. So what does punk mean to you?
I think for me, punk means, at its heart, obviously it's a word that has evolved and means lots of different things. It's contextual, but I would say, it means just being at odds with the establishment. We're not working within the establishment, working outside of it. That's what I think. Sonically, I would say means going hard and fast, but you can be punk and write a slow song. It's about more just how you're going about getting your message out there, and not doing it within traditional paths.
Yeah. So I would like to end part 1, and then I would like to come back to part 2 and talk about Guppy more and
sure.
What all the exciting things you guys are doing here. So anyway, so today my guest is Julie Lebow. Is that pronounced correctly?
Yes.
From the band Guppy, and we're going to have her back here tomorrow. So don't forget to tune in. Julie, this has been a very interesting talk and a very quick talk. So you're a good talker.
Thank you so much.
That's very good. I think that comes from film school teaching.
Probably.
Maybe, kind of. So anyways, so we'll see you back here tomorrow with Julie Lebow from Guppy. And if you like this video, click subscribe and like. And Julie, please, you too, click subscribe and like.
I will.
And and I'll see you back here tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Okay, see you then. Bye.